Awesome. All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Town of Dudley, Massachusetts Economic Development Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, November 21st, 2023. It's now 10:30 in the morning. I'd like to start the meeting with the call to order, the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty. And I'd like to just make a note that this meeting is being recorded. Thank you very much. All right. Well, we're oh, there's Kelsey.
Back we go.
We're very fortunate again to have our friends from the Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission here. We've got Jane Wyrick. We have Victoria Chavez. We have, is Joe here? Joe? Zabowski, yeah. Zabowski. And then Kerry, our old friend, Kerry Salwa. Thank you very, very much for joining us. They're actually, you guys are first up on the agenda, and you're going to be going over, talking more about the Gateway Plan.
Yeah, we wanted to review the draft questions for the survey. They're not all into SurveyMonkey yet. The introduction and the goals are in SurveyMonkey, and that's the one attachment that has a map on it. But the other questions, we wanted to get your input and walk through those before we finalize them and get them into SurveyMonkey. One of the questions I had is that in the survey questions, I frequently refer to that area as town center, but I think town center is really west of here, closer to the college. So I'm just looking for the right terminology, because I don't know if the public will know what we mean by gateway.
That's a good question. Because technically the town center is up at Nichols College. Isn't that correct?
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 of them.
Okay. So yeah, what would be a good term? Can anybody on the committee think of Dudley Town Center? Because I know that might be a little confusing. I've been living in Dudley for 14 and a half years now, and if somebody told me to go to the town center, I'd probably go to Park and Shop. But any thoughts?
Maybe we call it the town business center. I
So-
mean, that's really what you're looking at here versus residential, the center of Dudley.
That's a good one.
Maybe like Dudley, the Dudley Gateway, Dudley Towns, Dudley Business Center.
So you guys are experts. I'm sure you've run into this before. I mean,
Then again, the introduction does identify what we're referring to as the Dudley Gateway.
Yeah, one question I would have is, what do we want to call it?
Oh.
Because, we don't really have a name for it, so what do we want to call it? And, if Gateway is what we want to call it, it seems very clear. I like the project map area.
Mm.
Yeah. So it might be more of us thinking about what would we like to have this area known as?
Mm.
And Gateway might be it.
Might be it, like the
Yeah.
Gateway Center. I mean, especially seeing that there's gonna be,
Like that.
the Dudley Gateway Center. I mean, because we do have the, once the Stevens Mill is done, I mean, there will be more activity there, and things of that nature. So maybe the Dudley Gateway Center?
Okay.
so, I mean, this will link into, there's several ways to get into Dudley, right? So I would imagine signage would be at each of those entries, and so we're gonna call it the Gateway Business Center, or, at each of those points, so I think we should think through that too, because, or maybe it's just gonna say, welcome to Dudley, I guess, I don't know, but.
And if this also becomes, what do we, if we call it the Business Gateway Center or something, then it also states, kind of puts a stake in the ground as to what we want there. And so, I still don't know if that's the right term, but it's, again, just thinking through, where
For the
do we
sake
want
of
it to go.
the survey, that might be good, but I think as we work on marketing and image, maybe we'll come up with the name we want to call it.
Okay.
But it's probably good to just call it the Dudley Gateway area or center for now. area. And with other towns, if not everyone in the town who has the opportunity to take the survey is online, we typically recommend that some copies of the survey be printed and left in public areas like the library or town hall. The introduction states that it would be at the library, senior center, and town clerk's office, but I don't know if those are the appropriate places for Dudley, or if there are additional places you might want to place them.
I think we mentioned this in our last meeting where we can talk to local business owners as well to see if we can put the printed surveys there as well. When they have clients come in, they can always just advertise it to them. Or we can just do the little scan thing and they can scan it on their phones as well.
Yeah, there's a number of little shop local groups like Webster Dudley Business Alliance, and they have maps and they have different things about area businesses. They're about shop local. I happen to be on the board there, and a lot of the businesses support, that sort of, those sort of pamphlets and whatnot to be left at their business. So I'm sure that they would support it.
I think that's a great idea, and I also think that, like, were you referring to, Victoria, like a QR code, where if it was advertised, somebody, because I mean, most people nowadays, that's what they're gonna do. They're just gonna do that and, have an easier, quicker way to capture it, because I'm sure I don't know if there's gonna be some folks that are, when I say younger, but I'm still one that's, I like to consider myself still kinda young, but I think if we can do both of those, and to Mark's point, a lot of the folks that are the local business owners, like the Dippin' Donuts, how many people go in there? Even the local grocery store, Park and Shop, Whiskey Rocks, and name the different numbers of them that we could, help in any way that we're gonna hope to get their feedback as well. So.
I don't know if you've had a chance to read through the introduction and the goals. I just wanted to see if you're okay with any of that language or want to add anything or change anything. Should I read it aloud or no? Okay.
Just quickly.
It sounds like they're referring to Dudley Center as the gateway center, and the questionnaire.
Right, and that's why,
College.
yeah, we're definitely gonna make that change.
Oh, yeah,
So
okay.
that's why I realize that it's probably confusing.
Nichols, that area is more like a historical center. That's like a rather historical building, so.
Yeah. So that will all be revised. If there are no questions on the introduction, can we walk through the questions and get any input from you? And then Karen was also gonna mention another project after we go through the survey. And my thought is that if we're gonna be working on another project for the town, if we want to maybe add a couple questions to this survey and kill two birds with one stone, then we're not getting people tired of surveys after surveys. So we welcome any other questions for that.
Okay.
So I wasn't able to figure out how to add a map to the survey without putting it in a question. So that question one is just the map. Question two, when you go to Dudley Gateway area, what do you go there for? And I only listed a few of the types of businesses there, pharmacy, an auto parts store, coffee or donuts. Looking for suggestions on other types of businesses that are down there. The option for I don't go to Dudley Town Center, or an other box that allows someone to fill in the blank of what they come to that area for. Are there other categories of businesses we should include for that area?
We've got Walgreens, the Napa Auto Store, the gas station. We've got,
Oh, there's a dollar store.
there's a dollar store, Dippin' Donuts, the Dunkin' Donuts, that's not technically in Dudley, is it, the kiosk one? That's not, that's
Yeah,
in
it's
Webster.
before the bridge, right?
No,
That's before-
It's in Dudley.
That's in
Yeah, it's
Dudley, it's over the
little
bridge.
kiosk
But
one,
it's over
not
the
one near
bridge,
the
yeah.
courthouse?
Just the
Okay,
Yeah.
drive-through.
Yeah,
yep, okay, so you get Dunkin', the bar, and then, and there's actually a pet grooming, place across the street.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I forget the name of it.
Wolfies, I think?
Yeah, I think it is. The pet grooming,
You said that shoe store isn't there anymore.
you know, I don't think so. I mean,
really?
yeah, the building, I was driving by that a couple of times, and it looks like there is a transportation little office in there. When I say transportation, I think it might be like, you know, the moving of cars from car dealerships. But I'm not 100% sure, but the shoe place was no longer, all of that's gone, unless he's relocated. You know, I forget his, he was one of the the business owners that I spoke with a while back when I walked around just trying to, you know, ask some local business owners questions and their thoughts about, you know, helping them out, what can the town do? And he was one that was very vocal in regards to like trying to slow down traffic there because of the, you know, maybe crosswalks, parking, you know, like, you know, there's people fly by and they don't even know he's there. So in that one right now, I think there is some sort of a different business. And then I think there's still the hair salon that's right there. And then the building to the right of that, there's somebody that moved in. There used to be, it looked like it used to be like an old antique store or something, but I think somebody moved in there, but I could probably go and find out.
Yeah, that looks like a sink top, like elegant sink top.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Shop. I don't know if it's open or if it's just like a facade in the window and then there's a website, so I don't know.
I actually, I know the owner of those properties. I can contact him and see what's actually gone in there.
Okay, great.
But I think that's,
The blue building.
yeah,
It.
it's a plumber who bought it. It's a plumber who bought it.
I think that's it.
Great. Question number 3, are there businesses or activities that used to be in Dudley that you wish were still there?
Yes.
Yes, and if yes, what were they?
Yeah, we used to have a nice luncheon place like Dwyer's. We used to have what was called the coffee shop, but also you went there for lunch. That's over where the sign place was, down before the family store.
Really?
Oh, yeah, something where you could actually go in and have a lunch, not
Yeah.
a pizza place where they have food.
Right.
That we don't have that anymore, where you could actually sit there and enjoy it.
And where was that?
There was, well, Dwyer's used to be up by the courthouse where there's Dunkin' Donuts, and then the coffee shop was actually in the building where the sign place is at. There used to be a
They're
section.
not there anymore either.
No, I just see a real estate company went in
Yeah,
there, I think.
okay, yeah.
So there used to be a little luncheon place that was in there that did breakfast, and then they did lunches, and then they would close up. They were done by mid-afternoon. Those were locals that were out here.
Interesting.
So that would be nice, because there's no place to go for lunch.
There is, yeah.
There really
There
isn't.
really isn't in Dudley.
All right, question number 4, where do you currently shop for household items? Grocery store, a large retail store such as Walmart, Target, etc., a membership warehouse such as BJ's or Costco, shopping centers with multiple store options like the Auburn Mall or shops at Flagstone Valley, or a line for people to fill in the blank for other options. Just trying to get an idea of where people shop and what they're looking for, what kind of demand there might be in town. Question number 5, when you go to Dudley Gateway area, what types of businesses or amenities would you like to see there? A coffee shop, restaurant, nightlife, small shops or boutiques, green spaces. We can add more if you have other ideas, and then an open-ended comment box for people to add their own suggestions. Anything you want to add there, or?
I think Joanne just brought up the coffee shop, the restaurant.
Sit-down restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, nightlife, I mean, I know there's a bar, is it 21 that's there, across this, right next to the pet grooming place that's been there for quite some time, I think. But yeah, I think, and then maybe just green spaces, maybe just a little, like parentheses, just what, like an example of what that is, just in case somebody might not know what that is referring to.
There's a large area 104 West Main Street, and gentleman, he was willing to sell, and it borders Merino Pond. And you can't really see it because it's all overgrown, and they just have a few warehouse-type stores in there. But that could really be developed into something nice.
Okay. What about,
A lot of green space.
oh, right.
Yeah, right where the lake is would be beautiful.
What about some type of community area, like a pavilion or a gathering place for community events?
So maybe add in community space to that
Yep.
list.
That's probably Dudley's biggest loss. The original plan for that was to have had a small hotel on the water and a restaurant that was there, and the town was not receptive at that time to the plans. But if you go back probably 35, 40 years when Dairy Brothers closed up, that was the proposal that went in there. Instead, it got hacked up the way that
Where
it
is this exactly again?
Used to be Dairy Brothers. It's right where she's talking. I now, where
Where they
the
sell
ice,
Christmas
Across from
trees.
Marty's, all right.
yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah, I think that, well,
Well, there was
that's,
some brownfields there too, wasn't there?
Yeah, but a
Dairy
cleanup, there was a cleanup that happened on a lot of that. There was an area behind there. But that might be like down in Myrtle Beach area, they have a place called Barefoot Landing. They started as a little area of specialty shops that was in that whole area with the little restaurant. That's a prime location for
Yeah.
something like that.
and I don't think we've taken you there, but there's the, I mean, I don't know, it seems like Marty's has been around for quite some time. There's a big liquor store, the area that we're talking about is across the street from that. And that's something that, ever since I moved to Dudley, I thought, wow, that could be a pretty good little area to have something, and whether it's public space, green space. But there are a couple of, it's a commercial property where there has been a couple of businesses that are in there, but they haven't been retail. I think they've been more like, local contractors, stuff like that. So that would be an idea, because, I mean, the town doesn't own that property though, right? No.
I think the town, they're occupying a huge garage in the back.
Oh,
I
really?
don't know if it was gifted to them, they bought it, or what, or they're just renting, I don't know.
But we could maybe, show you at some point where we're talking about, because that, along with the gateway area, I know we're focusing on the gateway right now, but just, because that could be a potential down the road. Anyways, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, we welcome the discussion and the ideas and recommendations. Question 6, what do you think Dudley's strengths are? The location between Worcester, Boston, Providence, and Hartford, the small-town character, and we're looking for other ideas for potential things that people can check off, as well as a comment box for people to add their own thoughts.
I was thinking conservation or agriculture. I don't know if those
Okay.
are the same or two different boxes.
Yes, I mean, seeing that, I mean, there's a lot of farmland, and they're actually still, Ellen, I don't know if you know the number of this, or anybody does, but I forget, because we actually had a great meeting, and I forget when it was, but we had local farmers that were here, that gave us their, like, what they were up to and things, and their challenges, and that would be something that I would include too, because I think there's at least 3 or 4 working farms and still in Dudley. So maybe the agricultural piece, and then, I think another, strength of it is, Nichols College. We're a college, a small little, great reputation, that needs to be added as well, because that's a big strength.
Very good.
Thanks, Todd, I appreciate you adding it, so I didn't have to. It's kind of self-serving.
Being the dean of the graduate school, right?
Yeah, it's a little self-serving.
Any other thoughts on that? All right, question number 7. What do you see as challenges to revitalizing the town gateway area? Funding, a lack of interest or support, looking for a couple of other ideas, or just an open-ended comment box?
The one thing I was thinking there is, and I'm not sure exactly how to word it, but something about like demand, customer demand, you know, or traffic to support businesses. I'm not sure. That
You
was-
mean the lack of customer demand?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that funding, I mean, is always, I think, the, top of the list, but it seems that, after hearing that there is some money out there, grant money, things of that nature, and, how can we get at it? Which I know that's part of the whole working, through, this exercise, and, but, I think, there's a lot of folks out there that, and I've been one of them, that you live in the town, you drive by, you say, wow, I wish we had this, I wish we could do this, but, when it actually comes down to, supporting something, coming out, volunteering, or even just responding to a survey, being, getting off the bench and getting into the game kind of a thing, I think that's tough, and a lot of folks are busy, not everybody can be part of it, but, I would think that, to Robin's point as well, it's just, if I'm a business owner and I'm down around there, I mean, traffic, what can we bring, how can we bring people there? And I know there's gonna be, I think, 56 or something apartments that are gonna be going up in the Stevens, the old Stevens Mill, that, once that's done, hopefully, you've got folks that are there, there's something that's gonna bring people out to visit those, because if that does actually happen, then there'll be more of a demand, I would think, for other businesses to say, ooh, we gotta, maybe we'll set up that little diner, at a place down there, or maybe we can.
Having built-in customers.
Yeah, because they're gonna have the customers there. That's just a thought. I don't know if anybody else has anything that they'd like to add to number 7.
Yeah, I think part of it is we've had a lack, and this may change it, we've had a lack of identity. We have always been Webster Dudley, not Dudley. I mean, I go out to places like Lenox, and obviously they're nothing town, but they're a great area to walk around and kind of poke and do things. But they have an identity. I think that's a big part of this, is we've always thought of ourselves as being part of Webster. I think you can overcome parking, but you have to give people a better feeling of community than what they have.
Yeah, my thoughts are access. I think that's been the biggest barrier to our town, and it's a good barrier sometimes. You don't have the flow through, but you talk about Lenox, it's right on 90, so pretty easy access to highways. We're very far from 395. So the reluctance of a business to come to the center of Dudley, going through Webster, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, could be a problem. However, Todd raises a good point with, the number of people that will be, coming to town with the apartments. But still, we have 12,000 people here. So, you add another 250 or 500 people, I'm not sure that that's gonna make a big difference.
But I think you just hit something, though, about access. Now, when I'm trying to get people to Dudley to look at a house, I don't take them through Webster. I get them off in Oxford and come in that way, or you could come in through the Southbridge Inn. There are other access
Number of
areas.
ways, yeah.
We try and avoid, when we're getting people out here, to avoid the main street of Webster completely. And that, again, I think is part of identity, that you have to look at yourself as a separate community.
Yeah.
But for years, we were tied in school system. I mean, I grew up we went to Bartlett. We did not have our own school system. We were part of Webster. So I think promoting some of those things, when we talk about leaving Dudley, you have 10 minutes to get to the Mass Pike, 12 minutes, but you're not going through Webster to get it.
Right.
You can do 3 different routes to get to that access to 395. Part might be over the Connecticut one, and then the middle one over the bridge through the back road, and then out of Oxford. So I think a lot of it is not having recognition as to who we are, where we are in our access to get into us.
But, great point, because I remember when I first, moved to the area, I was living in Webster, and then I moved, down the street to Dudley. So, and I would laugh when I would hear people that would say, oh, I can't to go all the way to the new Price Chopper that opened in Webster. I'm like, it's right down there. But to their point, 4 o'clock, 4:30, to get from the police station or the library or the town hall to like park, it's just, it can take 30 minutes. It's crazy. I mean, it really, if it's, maybe not 30, but enough to make it like, ooh, okay. But also, you had mentioned parking. I mean, like that area down there too, I know that just when I met with those shop owners way back when, and that, they had said that, yeah, there's not as much parking there. But again, what's gonna be the draw that's gonna be there, parking's not an issue at Dippin' Donuts because most people go to the drive-through there. Is how they circumnavigate that is just, and I think that's been a very big issue with a lot of folks, but somehow it people make it happen. But I think that, parking, and just access, to it might be an issue as well. But anyways, that's all I have.
Okay. Those are some really good ideas. Question number 8, when you think about communities that you like to go to, what communities come to mind? And I know we asked this committee that question the last time, but we want to ask the residents and business owners what their thoughts are. And then to go along with that, question number 9, what is it about these communities that appeals to you? A walkable downtown area, quaint shops and boutiques, natural beauty such as beach, mountains, parks, etc. And then an open-ended comment box, and we can add additional options if you would like, if you want to add access or any of those.
Downtown Putnam, where all the antique shops are and little coffee shops, nice area.
Okay.
Something that would be doable here if we had, people that open businesses.
Right.
We have empty store space.
And that's something, because Putnam, a number of years ago, and it wasn't really that long ago, was it? Where it wasn't. I mean, a lot of those shops were, older, run down, vacant, a lot of vacancies down there, and they revitalized. And you ask a lot of people in Dudley, where you going for dinner on a Friday or a Saturday night? It's Putnam, or down around there. Yeah, so it's just, maybe we could, I love this, getting the feedback from the residents, to say, okay, what other kind of towns, and, because that'll tell us what they do and what their needs are.
Yeah,
So
there
I
is
would add
slight-
a historic landmarks to that question.
Yep.
Oh, nice, yeah.
There is slightly better access to Putnam from the highway than Dudley, but there is still, you still have to go a ways from the highway to get to Putnam, so it's a good comparison, I think.
I forgot to add, but we were back at what would we like to see here that used to be here?
Mhm.
We used to have a nice secondhand shop. They had everything in there. And art, different people from people's homes, all kinds of clothing. It was a great shop. And it was busy. People used it. And now we have an accounting office. There's never anybody there.
This is more of a
It's accountants.
kind of coordinating the survey. So I would add to number 5, now that we're back to number 5,
Yeah.
is collaborative space, community space. I think we already had that one, but art space, because you then ask about collaborative space and then art space in later in the survey. So you probably want to collect the data on 5 too.
Very good.
Awesome, yeah.
I agree. Ready to move on?
Yes.
Question number 10, where do you work? In Dudley, in Worcester County, elsewhere in Massachusetts, in Rhode Island or Connecticut? I work remotely. I do not work, or I'm retired, or other.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to know. Yeah, I think that covers
Just if we're
it.
looking at what kind of businesses you want to attract to town, I'm just curious about how far people commute to get to work and how many.
Yeah.
And we're actually gonna,
I'm in school.
I'm sorry?
Maybe I'm in school.
I'm in
Because
school.
we-
Yeah. Because some of the later questions do hint at collaborative workspace, so, you know, if one was available in town, would you use it? Number 11, if something like a collaborative or shared workspace were to open in Dudley, is that something that you would seriously consider using? Yes, no, why or why not? Open-ended. Question 12, do you have interests or do you practice any type of art, crafts, or skills? If so, what type? Drawing or painting, pottery or ceramics, knitting or crochet, spinning, weaving, or other fiber craft, jewelry making, cooking or baking, homesteading skills, including gardening, canning, etc., model making, woodworking, welding or metalworking, restoring old vehicles, or other. That would just be going along with the other question of trying to see how much interest there is in the arts. And I did speak to a woman with the Cultural Council who said that sadly, most of the grants that they give out, the Cultural Commission grants, are to people outside of Dudley. So I'm not sure how much of a demand there is for arts, but it's people from the greater area that are mostly applying for those grants. Question 13, is your skill at a level that you could teach to others, or would you be interested in teaching a skill to others? And that was trying to hint around at whether we would have the skill set to have an arts program here, an arts facility. If you do not practice a creative skill, why or why not? I don't have interest in a particular creative craft or skill. I don't have space to work on my craft or skill. I can't afford to practice my craft or skill. I would practice my craft or skill if there was a place for me to practice it or other. I had seen a news story about a woodworking shop in Brattleboro, Vermont, where I think there were retirees, they had the equipment, and there were a lot of people who want to learn woodworking, but they can't afford the nice equipment and they don't have the space to do it with. And it's become a community gathering place. So just a thought that, you know, what might people be interested in? Some of those old skills that maybe a lot of us buy ready-made things now and we don't want to let go of some of those old crafts. Just see where people are at with that, if you think those questions are necessary here. And then I might let Carrie talk a little bit about the other project that will be starting soon.
Sure.
And then maybe if there are particular questions that you have for that, we can add them to this survey after.
Awesome.
Hi.
Hi,
It's nice
Carrie.
to see you all again. It's been a while.
I know.
Has Olivia, have you been able to tell them about the community compact project?
That's on the agenda for later during this meeting,
Do you
so
think-
no, I have not had a chance.
Would you rather her, Olivia?
Yeah, maybe just a background?
Yeah, so Olivia,
mind
just
jumping?
to let everybody here know who Olivia is, it's Olivia Antonson. She's a special projects intern in the town planner's office. She's on vacation, Thanksgiving vacation from Indiana University, and she's giving the update for Bill. So,
Perfect. Slight correction, town administrator's office is where I work.
oh, I'm sorry, town, not town planner, town administrator, okay.
Yes, so I will be sort of giving a brief bill update, not the full bill update. I'm sure he's got far more content than I have here. So recently the town received a grant. It's the FY24 Community Compact Best Practices Economic Development Grant. This was a $30,000 grant, and really there's two main goals that we're looking at with using this grant funding. It's to identify potential sites for economic development and to better market and promote the area behind the courthouse as a site for economic development. I'm sure you're all familiar with that parcel of land and looking at different uses potentially for that piece of land. So what I ended up doing today is I went on a few different site visits with our friends here at CMRPC. We drove around Dudley and looked at a variety of different sites for everything from community-based things like a pavilion to could this be a place for a restaurant, could this be a place for maybe like manufacturing. So really my update here with the committee is informing you of this grant, $30,000. We would like to utilize that as efficiently as possible, and then seeing if there's any feedback from the committee on do you have a site in mind that you think that should be explored further? Is there a piece of land in town that really comes to mind as, yes, this is something we should really look into now that we have the funding to identify these sites?
Awesome. And Olivia, are there any guidelines as to specifically what those funds have to be used for again?
Not specifically. So originally the grant was applied for related specifically to the area behind the courthouse. However, we did get permission from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to shift the focus of that grant a bit to identifying other potential sites for economic development in case the area behind the courthouse doesn't pan out the way we were
Okay.
originally thinking.
Just kind of broad. economic.
104 West Main Street.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you have any other updates, Olivia, before I?
That was my only bill update.
Okay, thank you.
So we've been having conversations with Olivia for the past few weeks, even while she was at school, and went through the application process, and she let us know she was awarded and that, or the town was awarded and that the focus had shifted. So before the EDC meeting today, we asked her to give us a tour, 'cause I've had the opportunity to see several parts of Dudley, but my colleagues haven't had a chance to see it all. So we visited about 9 different areas, or discussions about 9 different areas. We finally got to see the town beach today for the first time. But there are several locations that I think could be looked into further. I don't know exactly the status of the land, so it's not something I'd like to put into the survey at this point. But I do think 104 West Main is an area we've talked about several times in the past on different projects we've worked on here. The Stevens Mills, the second Stevens Mills property next to Hanky Sass. I don't know the address of that property.
Oh, yeah, right to the right.
137?
Is it 137?
I think I saw that.
So there was that project. There's a property that recently went into, I don't know if I can talk about it, recently went into bankruptcy. There's another property that we looked at that has potential for build out. That's a vacant lot right now. There was some conversation about bringing in some residential from some recreation use in order to spur some economic development. So we talked about a number of opportunities for that to happen in Dudley, even right here on this property. So if it's up to the committee it would be up to the committee to decide how much of this we put into this survey, but to alleviate survey fatigue, I think it would be worth adding a few questions.
I would agree. And you said you visited 8 or 9 sites. I'd love to know, like, in particular, like, you know, I know we mentioned 104 West Main Street, some of the other sites, and just because as a committee, I think, you know, we should know where those are and be able to give our feedback as to, you know, and after listening from your thoughts as to what you think might be a good use, and then just work together to see if we can, you know, pinpoint it. But I think if adding it to this survey is what you're talking about, like some questions.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure we're ready to add all of that into the survey, but I think it would be interesting to see if
I would
any
think
of the
so.
residents in town have suggestions for economic development that they would like to see. But our plan is 100% to work with the EDC on this project. I believe it's an 18-month, it's either a 12 or 18-month grant, so we'll be here kind of in conjunction with the Village Center project. And the 4 of us will be working on it together.
Do you have some thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not brain surgery to ask the assessor's office for any sites that the town owns. For instance, I would be curious across from Bavola Church. I thought that's a town-owned piece of land that had a cleanup that would be a prime site maybe to do something with. And as you go up that road, I mean, she could give us a list of anything that falls in that district that the town owns that looks like an opportunity to pursue, because the town is they're looking to they're not in the land business. They're looking to put it into effective use, and that seems to be the trend throughout the state with real estate in general, to the point you're reading more about towns looking to change zoning to make in-law apartments easier to put into property, more effective use of the land, because there's a limited amount. But I think we could look at that and see if there's any potential. I could name 3 properties easily on West Main that would be possible for development.
If we have a list, you know, whether it's the 9 and any additional, could we do a question that just asked the participants to rank order the areas that they would find, you know, good for further economic
Yeah,
development?
that's a great idea.
You know, I was thinking too, maybe we can put a map and have the residents mark on there and then a question on other, and they can describe
What
where.
they'd like to see.
Exactly, and they can just star or exit wherever it shows on the map, and we can check that out too.
Victoria, if you can get a map and an opportunity for them to kind of rank order, that would be ideal.
Perfect.
Because I was a little worried about just listing them, because I'm not sure everyone would know where they are.
Yeah, it's not everybody talks in addresses, yeah.
Right.
And there, we only had an hour, so I'm sure there's other sites, but Olivia gave us a phenomenal tour, I think, of all of the potential sites.
Yeah.
Just a great start, at least.
Anyone else on the committee? Thoughts?
So overall,
You're stuck with
you
us.
guys, huh?
You're stuck with us for a while.
Overall, I mean, you guys have done these surveys before. My biggest concern about this is that it won't be completed because of the length of it. And just based on the nature of humans. So I think we should put a lot of thought in how we circulate this. I mean, the one thought I had was, you know, maybe at town meeting, so we get probably 100 citizens there that probably care the most about our town. And, you know, obviously that's the reason they're at the town meeting. But of a town of 13 or 14 or whatever we are now, 1,000 people, for 100 people to show up at a town meeting is atrocious, but it's not unusual. Most towns are the same way. However, the same thing is true when it comes to surveys. You know, we may get a very, very low turnout in surveys. So I don't know how long this is planned to be out, and, you know, what our expectations are as far as turnaround. But my biggest concern about this, they're all great questions. And is there any way we can, number one, shorten it up, so group some questions together? Is there a way we can incentivize people to fill it out? I don't know if it's a dollar off their tax bill, or, you know, just some incentive. What's in it for me? You know, what's in it for you is that you're gonna improve your town, but there's so many people that don't think that way. And so I'm just trying to preempt it, you know, and you guys already know, what the turnout is gonna be on this. This is not your first rodeo on surveys. I've done a number of them in some small groups that I belong to, and we did one with that same association that I referred to, and it was on SurveyMonkey or Survey whatever.
1, 2, 3 or something.
Yeah, and it was super easy to get involved in. The pass-through rate was perfect in that we didn't get a lot of bounce backs on the emails, and we got, you know, like 8 replies of the 1,000 people we sent it to, or whatever it was. So I hate to be negative about it, but I'd just like to make sure that this is successful, because obviously you're spending a lot of time, and we are as well. You know, how do we make this something that we can get a positive turnout from, or a response from? So I think we should spend some time in thinking about, you know, yeah, area businesses will put it out, but you're running in to grab your dinner, you're not gonna sit there and scan. You're gonna look on Facebook, or you're gonna do something else on your phone. You're not gonna scan that QR code and sit there and fill it out and say, this is for the betterment of our town. It's just not gonna happen.
Which kind of gets to another item on our agenda, which is our social presence and getting our virtual presence up.
Yeah.
Because it would make a lot of sense to have this as a social media post, in, you know, the Webster Dudley Town Forum, you know, there's social media groups out there that, you know, the people that might be interested in this are on.
Yeah.
I
That will definitely
agree
help.
with Mark, though, that I would think about, like, are there some questions that are, you know, maybe we could eliminate or shorten up?
Or consolidate.
Or consolidate, or think about what are we, and how I would do that as a researcher would be to look at what are we gonna do with the information that we collect? You know, is it something that's actionable? And so I did have a couple of areas where, you know, if you're willing to have a conversation offline, we could definitely talk about, you know, maybe helping to fine tune those.
Of course, yeah.
I totally agree as well, because, I mean, you, Robin, you had mentioned the Dudley Town Forum on Facebook. To Mark's point too, when people are out running around and things like that, yeah, are they gonna sit down after they get their coffee, they go back to their car or whatever, and they're gonna say, wait a minute, I'm gonna do something for the benefit of the town? They're sitting on their couch at the end of the day, you know, scrolling through Facebook or whatever. I think that's the way, where to grab them. And also, I love the idea about the town hall meeting, because, you know, in the last couple of meetings, there's been quite a turnout at those, because there's been quite a bit of stuff going on. So, but those are the folks that are there. And, you know, I think part of it is the social media piece, which it is on our agenda as well, but also, you know, to say, hey, listen, you know, what have we done? Okay, well, you know, we gave it out to you, and we have it, you know, and have a presence at the next, you know, town hall meeting, and maybe have a little table, and just, or if it's me standing there, you know, handing, you know, this out with the QR code saying, hey, you know, please take a look at this. But my guess is, because, you know, sometimes I have to put down the Dudley Town Forum, because there's so many people that go in there. But again, these are folks that, hey, you know what, you want something? You want to talk about the things that need to change and things that need to do this? All right, we're here to try in some small way, in our volunteer committee, working with folks like yourself to try to give us the feedback, you know, and then we go from there. So I think that, did you want to say something, Joanne?
Yep, a couple of things. First of all, I am a big believer in not having paralysis through analysis, that you analyze things for so long you never move it forward. Secondly, I don't believe in micromanaging people. If you come before me and you're the expert and you gave me an opinion, why am I questioning everything you suggest that we try? And everything in real estate and a lot of things, they're statistical. I'm a mathematician. The bottom line is you already know what the percentage is, no matter how we do it, of what we're going to get a return. So we could talk about it for the next 5 months, and if it means that if we got 4,000 of these out, all we'll ever get is 100 for a return, then we either accept it and not try to change it. It is what it is. There is nothing like the personal touch, believe it or not. I am one of the dinosaurs of the town. I actually knocked on your door and did the town census. Stood there in the rain and asked you how many people live here, how many are over 18, do you have a dog? Oh, that dog doesn't live here? Really? But we got results, and we used to do a census that way. So I think I want to be careful not to try and fine-tune this so long we miss the window of opportunity to get the information, because I trust what you are telling me. I don't know better. That's my only concern here.
I would, you know, and I would just add, the social media is one layer. If we have it at the town meeting, if we do put it, paper copies at the library and the town hall, and we have it at the local businesses with a QR code, you need to see something 9 times before you act on it. So they may see it at the shop, and then they're going to, you know, pass by it at another shop, and then they're gonna see it on their phone, and they're gonna say, oh, I should probably do that. So I would just say multi-channeled, more is better. It'll give us a better opportunity, but, you know, surveys are hard, but we'll get some data.
And that's the whole point. Like, obviously not everyone is going to reply, but once we even see somewhat a little scale of what the residents are looking for, we know which direction we can go to, and we're just showing that we are reaching out to the residents, and we want to make sure their voices are being heard. But
Here's a little snapshot of the town. So you guys probably are familiar that we had a debt exclusion vote recently, and the first 2 attempts went horribly. And you know that the town did everything that they could to share the fact that there was gonna be a vote, there was a debt exclusion, and whatever they shared about what it was, there were 5 segments of it. They had a lighted board in front of the firehouse. They were on the website. They were at the town transfer center handing out papers. They did everything that we just talked about. And instead of the town meeting being populated by about 60 residents, it was probably occupied by 250 residents who went there not to understand, because they just knew my taxes are going up because Facebook said it. My taxes are going up. I don't know what it's for, but whatever it is, the taxes are going up, so I'm going there to say no. So they went there and they said no, and it failed, of course. Didn't fail, it wasn't like, 99% said no and 1% said yes. There were some who got it, they understood it. They did it again, tried it again. Didn't make a whole lot of change, said, oh, your taxes won't go up as much, but I'm still not gonna tell you what's in this debt exclusion. And it failed again. But again, my point is not that it failed or the process, or I want to talk about the process. They went to all lengths, newspaper ads, there were cards sent in the mail explaining all the different things. And it went to every single resident of the town. And we saw 250 people come out, and in my opinion, totally didn't understand it because they voted no, or a good portion of them, a majority of them voted no because it didn't pass. Until they finally said, okay guys, here's what the deal is. It's this for highway, this for veterans, this for school, this for public safety. And this is how much your taxes will go up if you vote yes for this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And then the town made the decision, and 3 of them passed, and 2 of them failed, and now we don't have a highway, and we don't have veterans support, but the schools and the public, so the point I'm making, I guess, is that we can't reinvent the wheel. I mean, it is what it is. Surveys are surveys, but I just want to make sure, to Joanne's point, if we're going to send this out, let's have an expectation of what's going to come back, and we need to be ready to act based on what comes back. But let's put our best foot forward to do that. So it's important. I think that I'm sure none of that is a surprise to any of you. But anyway, I think it's important that you at least heard. I think that's how the debt exclusion went, but that's certainly what it was in my head.
I gotta add something. The bottom line is we all learn differently. Number one, you're a Facebook. I get a newspaper delivered every day. I don't read it online. I want to read my newspaper. I still get the Times delivered. We all learn differently. And if you think that only one thing will be a solution, you will be waiting forever on doing this.
Yeah.
And that's the way the world is today. I don't care about looking at Facebook, what you had for lunch, or reading your opinion of 250 people. I still look in business to reach 10,000 people or 250,000 people online, in print, through the TNG, rather than the 200 people. So we all have different thoughts, and we have to focus again to the guidance of the people who bring it to us and have a history of how this works. This isn't the first time you've done this, right? So
But the difference, Joanne, is that nobody calls you up and says, hey, you just read that article, and oh, that's garbage. That's what you get on Facebook instantly, and it's wrong. They're telling you a lie. The town goes out on Facebook and says, this is what it is, and then some town resident chimes in and says, oh no, that's not it. You guys are just trying to make more money. You're trying to make the police chief's salary outrageous, and this. It's not true. But anyway, if everyone was just on the newspaper, it would be awesome, because you don't get that rebuttal instantly that tries to cloud your vision or change your mind.
But you only hit 250 people. I don't know how many people you have on.
Well, that's not how Facebook works, but.
I live in the real world. I talk to people. I'm out in the world. So again, it goes back to, I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket, but I want to gather information, more
Yeah.
quickly than we have done, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna take some blame on this with this board, to analyze it for the next 12 months before we ever throw it out and get a feedback.
Oh, no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think you're right. I'm just saying that the funny thing about those two media outlets is that, you know, you get false information on Facebook, but in the town, you're reading, you know, directly from a reliable source. And that reliable source started on Facebook, but people they have opinions and nobody filters any of those opinions. It's just, so, yeah, I mean, the newspaper, I think, delivers the best message about, hey, this is what it is, read it, you make up your mind about what it means, and then you go vote.
But shame on us, we're sitting here. Are we being televised?
Yes.
Well, then we can pat ourselves on the head. It's one more source that some people will look at. It's
Do
all
you know how
about,
many people are gonna watch this, Joanne?
it doesn't matter. Maybe you're not living in the same circles as me,
Yeah.
but people have to read, hear, see a thing 7 times to remember
You're
what
right.
you said.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Anyways, you know,
belabor it.
maybe we'll
No,
get
I
some,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ron.
I
go
think
ahead.
we're all in agreement.
I was just gonna
Same
say,
direction.
I know Debbie will enlighten us on the virtual, especially for our presence on the town's website, but to kind of get it back to you folks, I know it's already almost an hour, but didn't mean to, just kind of,
I just wanted to bring you all up to speed on what's going on with the community compact, let you know that we'll be involved for the next year or so, at least on this project, but it could obviously be done sooner. That we'll be working in conjunction with the Village Center, or the Gateway Area Project, and then be seeing a lot more of you.
very excited about that, and I think, you know, I agree with everybody on the committee, and I do believe that the paralysis by analysis, which I've heard, Joanne she's right, but I just think that the town residents, if we look at this, we're gonna take these little victories as we go. We're gonna have $30,000, we have a grant, that's a gift. You know, what can we best use? But we need a strategy, but if we can just show folks that maybe one day they drive by and they go, wow, well, that's new, you know, and then we do a little bit more, that eventually, word will get out and people will just see, the little things that we're gonna do. It's not like we're gonna, the walk-off grand slam home run that we're gonna take 104 West Main Street and turn it into this awesome, like, great little town center and things like that. That would be the ultimate, but I think that just these little victories are gonna go a long way. But
Yeah, and
how we get it out there.
stacked on multiple planning projects we've been able to do in Dudley over the past few years. It's time to get to the point where we're connecting with potential.
Can I ask just
In our
one quick question?
Yeah.
What was your sense of timing? When were you hoping to get this survey out into the community?
I didn't know if you were gonna wanna see it again once it's revised, or if you just want us to move forward. I did wanna, talk with Carrie to see if she had any recommendations. And I don't know, maybe we can eliminate some of the arts questions if they're not really as pertinent to economic development, but.
When's the next town,
Meeting?
town meeting? Mm-hmm.
Until
A
May.
lifetime away.
May?
April, right?
April?
Yeah. April.
April, wow.
Is it April?
It'd be May.
May? So a lifetime away.
Yeah.
So my comments had no reflection on what and I think I speak for everybody, you guys did a great job. We're just trying to share, expectations, and, but that's just an experience that I had, and I hope I'm wrong, but, I think it's important that, that it be shared, but I don't think we're sharing anything with you guys that you don't already know.
Yep, I agree.
Very good.
Awesome. And then we're just, and like to Mark's point, we're very grateful that you're
Yeah.
here helping us.
Sure.
And we mean that, and I'm looking very forward to, our collaboration.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, and you're more than welcome to stick around. If not, the next item is Debbie going to formulate a strategy for increasing our virtual presence.
Did you order lunch, Todd?
I was gonna say, we might as, well,
Yeah,
there's
they
no
can
place
stay
to
for
get
lunch,
lunch in Dudley, right? Is there? There isn't.
Just saying.
That's what we need, except the restaurant business is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
For having us. Happy Thanksgiving.
Victoria, I have your email.
Yes.
Go to your house for lunch.
I had elbow surgery about a month ago.
I was looking at it more and
Are we an athlete?
more about it than me, but
don't know.
I was just
It's not a, that can't be
Boxing.
tennis. Tennis would be the other one, right?
Alrighty. Thank you, Debbie.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi. I'm Debbie LaPlaca. I'm the town's public information coordinator. And before these people leave the room, may I just ask to have the survey before December 14th?
Before December
That's our
14th.
next big event in town. We're having the Christmas tree lighting and a couple hundred people attend.
Ooh, did you hear that?
Nope.
I'll
No.
tell them on the car.
You'll let them know in the car. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Carrie.
So it's either toy for Todd or complete the survey, right?
There you go.
Say, maybe we could talk with Santa Claus about that. Be like, okay, what would you like for Christmas this?
There you go.
Well, your parents have to fill this out before you get.
We can put the QR code on Santa's cap. As parents are taking
Thank you.
pictures of all their children on Santa's lap, they'll see the QR code right there.
Awesome.
But before we move on to your website, I do have a couple of suggestions on just some ideas for marketing this survey. And obviously, we'd want to add it to your website, but we'll talk about your website in a minute. For this type of survey, ways to get it out into town, just a couple suggestions. I could tease one question a day on Facebook out into the community that says, hey, question is blah, 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 blah. Please take our full survey and go to this link. Another suggestion would be, I can't read my own handwriting. Have the survey available for the tree lighting. And you could do a little table, a little booth, or you could just do a display. But if there's a person there, maybe pouring hot chocolate, you might get a little more traffic for that. We can do a reverse 911. We call it alerts, but most people know it as reverse 911. Send a message out to everybody's cell phone and everybody's email that the survey is available. We can do a press release. That's what I do for the
Sorry,
town.
are you familiar, like, is that the same as when I get, every other day, I get notified about a water main break?
Exactly.
Is that the same? Right,
Exactly.
the rave alert, yeah, that's,
So we have
Every-
over 5,000 followers on Facebook, and we have about the same number of people who are subscribed to our alert system to get the phone calls or emails.
awesome.
Shepherd Hill newsletter. You want to get the young parents involved in this, just put some, Shepherd Hill is happy to put anything community-based into their newsletter. So Shepherd Hill could put it home to all the parents.
wow, great idea.
Even can drop it down to the middle schools and the elementary schools. The principals in all those schools are very cooperative, and all you need to do is ask, and they'll be happy to help out. Indoor, outdoor signs. I do our indoor and outdoor signs, and of course, we can advertise it there. And I mentioned at a Board of Selectmen's meeting. Maybe one of you go on the agenda. I have a sneaky suspicion more people watch the Selectmen's meeting than they watch this meeting. Just a thought.
Hey,
Just a thought. So on to your website.
We have five
Debbie, just one
that
question,
watch
one
our
thought
meeting.
I had as you, when you said the schools, it would be great if we could even get some of like the senior students at the schools to take the survey, because they're the people that we're really building this for, right? Is the people
future.
the future of Dudley.
Great idea.
You know, I'm not sure, you know, you'd ask a 14-year-old, but, you know, a 17 or 18-year-old, I think
Right.
we should be asking their opinions.
I'm not sure if they still do it today, but they were up to a couple years ago. They had like a little government team that did mock town meetings, election debates. This would probably be something that they might be interested in getting involved in as well. So,
When you say the newsletter, is that an actual, is that just like an email newsletter that goes out?
I do, it hasn't quite been a year yet. I'm just coming up on a year with the town, and I do something called Dudley Digest every month. And the Dudley Digest goes out through our email service. So there's two types of alerts that go out. It's the alerts, the water main broke, parking ban. Typically, we don't do community-based things on those alerts, but we could do this. And then there's Notify Me. And Notify Me, just people in town who want to know when there's a meeting, when an agenda's posted, and we can send it out through both processes. The newsletter goes out through Notify Me. It also goes on Facebook, it goes on Twitter, it goes on the town website. Amanda and I have a page, News and Media, and we post everything there.
I think that's a great idea, and
We can
because
get a
you-
little bit of exposure that way.
but you
Just a little.
Debbie, the first thing that you mentioned about this survey that we were talking about, because Mark had brought up, and I agree with him, that sometimes you look and it's like there's a lot of good information, but might be a lot of questions, and are people going to do that? When you said you would tease a question every day, so it's not like they're getting, oh my God, I got to sit down and do 12 or 15 questions. And to capture it that way seems like it would be more people would.
Before they know it, they ate the elephant, right?
Yeah, before they know it, you can't do it with one bite.
Before they know how big it is. Well, I agree with all the comments before, that you just blanket every demographic. The people who read the newspaper, the people who think they're getting news from Facebook. You send it out in every way possible, and it will stick. It will stick. And as far as the tease questions, one person might read one question and go, not for me. But they might read a question 5 days later and go, whoa, I have an opinion on that. And what we did learn about all the override elections this past summer is there are a lot of opinions out there. So it's just a matter of compelling them to share.
Yeah, you talk about not one, we have 3 suggestions to a question. You put it on Facebook, you're gonna get 100 suggestions. Like, why don't you go,
Yeah, there's that too. So if you would like to talk about your webpage, I did do a review on your webpage, and I'd like to start off by saying we're doing a full review update of all of our website. We're working with the company that hosts us to try to just bring everything up to date and to become ADA compliant with our digital messaging. So that's a project that we're working on. Actually, we just kicked it off yesterday. So timing is everything. So we are working on that. But I personally embarked on a task a couple months ago to update on a higher level. What we're doing with the ADA and everything else is at the root of our website. But on a higher level, I'm reviewing pages. And we're looking for consistency among pages. And some of these pages, it's almost like every department is an island. Some information is on this page, but it's not on another. The first thing that jumped out to me on your page, there's no contact information. There's no phone number, there's no email address. There's no way for anyone to contact you. That was the first thing that jumped off.
Yes.
I'm sorry, what?
we know.
Yes.
Yeah,
We don't want anyone to call us.
I don't know, is that intentional, or, because if it's intentional, I'd like to change it.
Oh, we can put Joanne's number on there.
So
That's okay with
a few observations and suggestions. We need to update your description. I've noticed in several places on your webpage and some of the links that you really beef up preserving our royal character, which is great, and we love it. But is that what a potential business needs to hear over and over and over again through all your literature? So some of the update would be the description, who you are, what you do. There's a little bit of that in there, but I think it can be updated. And then, how do you come to this table? Who appoints you? How many members? I see you have 1 vacancy. Length of term. And again, contact information. I think I'll say that 15 times before I leave this table, contact information. And then moving into the content. So the first thing I'm going to say you're probably not going to love, but remove the shoddy videos. The blue people on videos, the president of this and the president of that, and our town administrator. The video quality is awful. And what I heard from Bill is most of you agree that there needs to be a step up on that or eliminate it, because I don't think it's doing anybody any favors, but that's your opinion and that's your decision. I'm just saying that as a review of the webpage, that stood out to me.
You referring to the videos we just did?
I don't know, did you just do them? There's a link that
Was it Hanky
says,
Sass on there and Whiskey Rocks and,
no, it says Nichols Finals videos.
yeah, I think so.
I think we have.
Maybe they're the wrong ones on there, 'cause
I didn't see
Maybe they're
Whiskey
right ones.
Rocks. I didn't see Whiskey Rocks anywhere in this.
Okay, so does it start out as like a drone video over
Yes.
town?
And excuse me, I have something to say about that drone video too. Can you do it on a sunny day? It's a damp,
Yeah, so you might be looking at the wrong one, 'cause it was
dreary,
sunny.
cloudy day.
Oh, they might be old ones then on there, that's,
I believe they probably are. It was,
huh.
from what I was told, the videos were created by video students maybe up at Nichols.
They were, but Professor Russo ended up doing the whole thing at the end, quite frankly, because we told him what we were looking for, and he was like, okay, well, I'll get it done. And he just took pieces of what they did. You know, he still graded his class and did whatever he did, but he gave us, I mean, what I thought was, I thought they were pretty good. Well, I was involved in it, so of course I would think it was good, but I think we all agreed
No,
that
it
they
was
were
good.
decent, right?
Yeah, they were.
I mean, you should have saw the first ones we got that with.
Oh, boy.
You know, we had hats on backwards, and you know, but again, it's all about what the instruction was. I mean,
I think we were also
you needed to
trying-
go through that process to get where we went, where we got.
I
We
think
have
we were
some,
also trying to highlight the collaboration with Nichols. you
Yeah.
know, and that
The
was-
interviews are good.
Yep,
The quality,
no,
everybody's blue. We have some video talent in the room behind me, splicing and dicing and arranging things. This person also has some talent with drones, to maybe get the town hall on a sunny day. And you know, it's just the little things like that that make a difference when you open up a web page and you see it's essentially the image of the town. So that was one of my observations. We need to remove some links on your webpage. The community host agreement link, I don't know if you're aware, but community host agreements have been blown up. They're no longer valid. And that's an issue for this office back here as far as dealing with all that. But it may not be the best time to be putting out contracts that have essentially been revoked. So that's a link that could be removed if you choose to remove it. I would remove all the agendas prior to 2023 in the right-hand column. The minutes haven't been posted on your webpage since 2019. And that's glaringly obvious because the only one posted is from 2019. So these are just some of the things that jumped out at me. And if you'd like, you know, at some point to take a look, I just finished the Board of Selectmen's page, to take a look at the format, what I would recommend seeing for each member. So for the selectmen, we changed the whole table around, their name, obviously, and a link to their email, their town email. And when you hit the link, it tells you when were they elected, how long are their terms, when are their terms over, and what is their position on the board. And I'd like to see that kind of consistency on all the pages in all the different functions in town, so that you know you can go to one place, one click, and you can get everything you need to know to take the next step wherever you're going, whatever your pursuit is. Everything's in one spot, and you don't have to bounce around, or you don't have to call the town clerk and say, you know, when is this selectman's term over? It's right there in front of you. So those are my observations, and I leave it to you to make the decisions, you know, what you would like to see pursued. If you have any thoughts, anything that your wish list, what you'd like to see.
So, so part of the reason why we have no minutes, and this is probably as archaic as it is because we just don't have anybody that manages it, it takes care of it. So is that is that the responsibility of this new role, of your role? Or, no, that's still on us to do that, you're just making
Content is
recommendations?
on you.
Huh?
Content is on you, but we have help in Amanda Gage. She's our webmaster. And it's a bit sporadic in town hall. Some town departments do their own updates on their own everything. And some departments email their information to Amanda, and she does the update. So I am working with her. It's a partnership in updating our website, the whole package of our website. Essentially, I'm doing the review. I'm trying to develop consistency among the pages, and Amanda has the expertise to actually sit down and make that happen. She actually makes the changes. She has a lot of experience in it. So if you don't have administrative support, you don't have a person who is interested in managing your website, you do kind of need to be aware of what's there. And as changes happen, for instance, the survey that was proposed today, I see that as an example of, if I wasn't sitting right here and hearing all of it, I see that as an example of someone on your board sending an email to Amanda, this is a survey that we would like on our webpage. Do it, and it would get done.
Amanda's last name is?
Gage, T-H-E-E. And I believe she's in the room. I keep pointing behind me. Amanda, would you introduce yourself?
Hi.
Hi, Amanda.
So she is our web whiz. So if you don't have, like I said, the personnel or even, the desire to dig into the web page or make changes or make updates as things happen, you can reach out to Amanda.
That would be great, because I mean, I don't know if I can speak for myself and just hear my other fellow committee members, your thoughts, but I like to rely on people that know what they're doing, and I don't know the first thing, and I don't really have the time to do that either, and I think a lot of us don't. And so if Debbie, if you and Amanda can assist us in helping us to revamp, and I would take your advice on things in regards to what might need to be removed, updated. I think making it kind of very similar. Departments, like you had mentioned, the Board of Selectmen, whether it's, it's a link to, people like that. I don't know if it's going to have their headshot with their little bio
Well,
on
I
there.
do want to mention headshots now that you bring it up. The top right-hand corner of your web page says something. I think it's like community news or something like that. It doesn't need to be there. And what I've started doing with the selectmen, I only have 2 photos up right now, but graphics drive people to pay attention. They do it in the newspapers, Joanne. Graphics drives placement of articles. So if you have strong graphics, you have better placement. So I would like, this is just a proposal, but I'd like to take headshots of all of you. Or if you have headshots that you're particularly fond of and can send them to me, I would turn that top box on your page into scrolling photographs. And you add the human element, people see your face. It just is, hold on a second, I'm trying to get your page back up. Okay, right now in your top right-hand box you have news. And so, it's bannering Dudley Police Toy Drive. Selectman's office is closed for vacation. There's other places for people to go to see this. First of all, you'll see it as soon as you walk through the front door on the monitor. But it doesn't need to be on your webpage. So we have the ability to use this space for something that might work better toward what you're trying to achieve. Even if it's just to scroll some headshots, maybe scroll some projects in town, something that will catch people's eye.
I think that's a good idea, you know, the personal element of it. But also just what is being done, you know? So like if people are out, oh geez, we have an economic development committee, so what is it exactly you do or have done? This is what we're working on. These are the things that are, you know, and if anybody is actually going to the website to take a look at these things, they can, you know, they can become more active, or if somebody wants to become involved and volunteer and things of that nature. But I would hope that if you can help us to do this,
Absolutely.
that would be, we'd be very grateful, because
Absolutely.
when I joined, the president at the time of our committee I think he revamped the website. I don't know if it was just for our committee. I think it was for the town.
It was for the town.
Yeah, it was for the town. So it's just, you know, that's where we were at. We had somebody that did all of that and updated everything, and it was just so, you know, that would be a great assistance to us, Debbie.
Well, I'd like to start first by promoting your committee. And my thought was, if I can get a group shot, doesn't have to be today, whenever, before the next 30 days. In the Dudley Digest, I was thinking for the January Digest that I would spotlight this committee.
Debbie, if I would welcome that, but my hope would be that when we spotlight the committee, that we would have a website that would reflect what we want to be, so that when people hear about us, they go there and it's fresh. So we just want to make sure that we time that correctly.
That's why I'm suggesting January rather than December. Because December I have just a week or so to get prepared.
Yeah.
And if we do January, we have 30 days first to clean up the website. And then I'll need some information from all of you. I'm sorry, Joanne?
Yeah, I have a problem with the headshot deal. It's not about us. The bottom line on any of these committees, I don't care what you serve on for the community, and you may want to make it personal, but this is a business. This is a big business in the community. I don't want to put it on a personal level that we're here doing this. This is about doing business for the town, and I would find it hard pressed to find any town that actually is focusing on giving info on people, because we come and go, versus on what happens on that site. So I would not be in favor of a headshot. I won't do a headshot. I can tell you that right now. This is not about me, my life. This is about what this board is designed to do, and I like to keep it on a business.
I'm not suggesting a bio. I'm just suggesting getting some graphics up there. I don't know, is there some other something that can be photographed that would speak to your committee, represent the work that you do? I'm not sure. And if there isn't, and you know, there isn't any other option for photography, for graphics, for the top right-hand corner, we can turn it into something else. That's completely up to you.
We could go look at other towns' economic development committee sites and see what they're doing. What kind of pictures and...
Well, I want to share even with you with the assessors, depending on what your occupation is, we do not put you in the town book because of the factor of privacy to you, and your occupation may attract people to you that you would not want knowing more about you and where you live and where your ownership is. You don't find everybody's property listed when you get a town book. There are people that are deleted specifically because of their occupations. Just my own personal thought, I understand it, and if everybody wants their photos, they're welcome to do it, but I'm not. I won't do that.
Would you be interested in doing the group photo for the digest? Give it some thought. We don't have to do it
Yeah,
today.
oh yeah. Well, I'm expressing an opinion on why I think it's a disadvantage. I'm here on economic development, for economic development, not about Joanne Simzak and being your friend and being loved. That's not anything about it to drive you to the site. It's about respect for what we do and to share the information that we have. I just think that getting it personal, that's not the place in town government to get personal. That's my own opinion.
I see where you're going, Joanne. I just wonder if it provides some context and some openness, so that if someone had an idea, you know, if they see, you know, your face and they see your kind of your openness, you know, they would feel comfortable coming to you. So while I agree it's totally a business, but to put faces to that business makes it more approachable. That's where I would see that maybe there's some benefit to making it more approachable. We're not just a desk, but we are people who are in the community who, you know, are like them, and that they could come and provide some feedback too.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as Joanne. I mean, we both run a similar business, and my concern would be that, you know, I'm here doing this so that I can get business, and I've always been real careful about doing that. As far as a group shot, yeah, as long as there's no, you know, names or info or whatever, that's fine with me. But I don't know that, you know, I would need to be identified specifically.
It's a
Might be
good
on.
middle ground.
Hmm?
That's a good middle ground. Would give a graphic.
Again, not interested in sharing bios,
Yeah.
just making it, as you said, approachable. And
You know, Deb, you've been on a lot of boards, we've been on a lot of boards, and there's a lot of people who come to get on the board for a particular reason. And then there's other people who come on the board, like us, for the town. And I don't ever want there to be, you know, it's a fine line, it can be a fine line.
yes, I agree.
Interesting.
You
So
too,
those
Val.
are my thoughts for the day.
I will say that this is, I think someone said, Todd, you mentioned that when you first came on, that the website had been updated. You know, this isn't a one and done, so we as a group may want to think about, you know, is there someone who wants to have the role and responsibility for, because it is going to be a partnership with Debbie. She said content is our responsibility. So, you know, it may be, we have a chairman of the, you know, of the committee, but do we need to have some other roles within the committee to help us, A, have minutes? You know, does someone want to be secretary who takes the minutes?
Mhm.
Does someone want to be public relations who works with Debbie on, you know, certain things? Not everyone has to take, you know, full responsibility, but we could share the load. Just a thought.
So I guess I need to be defined as to your role with us, as if we want to get information out, you would be our go-to person to be able to do that.
Yes.
I don't understand why you would ever be involved in minutes. That's our responsibility.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
I'm
yeah, I
just
don't want to put that, yeah, see, already it sounded like we were going to you for
No,
minutes, and.
I'm
and-
just making a point that it's outdated.
Yeah, you're right.
The
'cause
page.
Typically, you can pull them up on every other town's website for every
We
committee.
would provide them and send them to them.
Gotcha.
To
Okay.
be updated.
All right.
Yeah, we wouldn't ask, you know, but I think to Robin's point, I think, you know, it would make sense to have somebody, if somebody was able to volunteer, you know, to be that go-to person, because I know, you know, with anything, updates that we get, whether it's here at our meetings or, you know, via, you know, the folks at the CMRPC, emails that might come through from Bill, you know, that might need to be updated, or whether it's sent around to us all, you know, as an email to say, hey, listen, I think this should be put up on our website, but maybe there would be somebody here that, you know, if somebody would be willing to be that, you know, go-to person, and then a secretary to actually take minutes, and then to be able to, you know, forward them to Deb, if anybody's willing.
That would be Amanda in this case, but
Amanda, I'm sorry.
whoever your person is, we will gladly, you know,
Okay.
sort out what
Oh.
information goes where.
Okay,
So there's, you know, we'll take the guesswork out of that.
so maybe just food for thought, if anybody wants to just, you know, over the holidays while you're enjoying your turkey, you know, think to see if anybody would like to take on, you know, one of those two roles.
Well, the hard part for us is we're a volunteer committee. You've been a chairman of a planning board, you have had a clerk, you have had a person who is a paid person to do those things, not necessarily a volunteer. We don't have that luxury, and I think a lot of us, you'll never get me to volunteer to take any minutes, do anything. Typing, my skills are non-existent on doing that, but I think we're in a hard spot, because those are a record we should be having, and we probably need to go back to the selectmen to see if we could get any kind of funding to pay somebody to take those minutes. They should have been going to the town clerk, they should be on record, and a volunteer is a tough position to do, let alone when we're not
Yeah, no, I couldn't
compensated.
agree with you more. I mean, like we all sit on other boards, and, you know, there are times during the year where I'm at work, at my job, my day job, and I'm taking 3+ hours, 4 hours, or whatever it is, that I'm just like, okay, you know, and it's just because of that. And it's not a paid position, it's not, but I agree, and maybe, I don't know if that would be, I think that's a great idea, because we could sit here, because I know, because it happened to me.
Yep.
It's like, okay, you're gonna take the minutes, scribble down some notes, and then you're like, oh, I gotta get it, and it doesn't happen. But if there was somebody that could be earmarked by the town to do it, just to show up, it's, you know, it's not like we have weekly meetings, it's just something, if that's a possibility, that would be great. Because I think you're 100% right on that,
Well,
John.
and Deb brought up a great point. It's a good thing she brought it to our attention, because we have been lax on doing that. We are not a board that votes, but you've been on a board and a chairman of a planning board, that those votes can end up in court, and they are important that we have those records. We don't do a lot of voting. So I think this is a great thing that you've brought up for us to follow up on, but I think it goes back to needing to contact the selectmen for some help, maybe, because we don't have a budget for anything,
Right.
to do anything.
If we can get someone to do it for us, that would be great. So how do we go about doing that? Who
We should
contacts?
probably reach out to Bill. When, you know, Bill was here, he'd probably say, you know, maybe he can bring somebody, or he might be willing to do it, or Olivia.
Olivia's going back to school, as
Yeah,
much as we'd
I
like
work
to keep.
remotely.
But there are other people in this
Oh, I see.
building that it's kind of like a administrative type of pool.
Oh,
And there
okay.
might be some availability, so if Bill isn't able to aid you,
Okay.
my suggestion would be to make a request to the town administrator.
I think that sounds like a great solution to the minutes problem, because I agree, no one wants me to take notes, because this is what it looks like.
Bring him up, though.
That being said, you know, I do think someone on our committee needs to be a pass-through of information and content for our website. And at the lowest man on the totem pole is something I'm interested in. I'm willing to give it a try, if that's okay, if you guys want me to.
Great. If everybody's okay with that.
I make a motion that we have
Robin?
Robin do exactly what she said she would do.
And I see it as a pass-through, you know?
Great.
As a pass-through of
Second
what
that
the
motion.
information is.
So we-
Okay, well, when we have information here that we think is worthy to put to the website, we can
Okay.
either.
I'll second that motion.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so you're in.
I'm in, okay.
Okay.
So does that mean even with you at this meeting, Deb, you would be able to send out a blast that we talked about, or that there is coming soon,
Yes.
a survey, something that we could be looking to you to do?
Yes, Bill contacts me regularly on
Good.
your behalf
Okay.
and lets me know what's going on. And I do watch your meetings for little tidbits of news. And the whole Gateway project has been on my radar, but I was waiting for this meeting today to kind of tie up, because I really didn't, from your last meeting, there really wasn't a lot of material per se for me to report out to the community. But I will report out on your behalf.
Good.
Bill gets in touch with me constantly. Important things like this would warrant a press release. And my only request is the moment you have that survey in your hands, let me know and I'll get started on that.
Absolutely.
Terrific, that's great.
That's great.
great.
Thank you very, very much.
Thanks.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Glad you came today.
I'm glad I came today. I'm so sorry that I didn't make it last time. We had a little bit of a hiccup in our
It's quite
lives.
Now, Debbie, do you have anything else?
No, that's all I had. Thank you. Thank you for your time and
Thank you.
hearing me out, and I look forward to getting started on it.
Awesome.
Very obvious that you like
Yeah.
what you're doing.
I
Yes.
love what I'm doing.
Very much so.
I do.
Good.
Thank you,
Great.
everyone. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
you as well.
Thank you. I'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Just in the essence of time, one last thing that, just wanted to bring up, unless anybody has something for open discussion. We do have a vacancy for an associate member. Robin, you have let Bill know of a young man named Ricky Bowden, who's interested. And I have a copy of his resume. Would it be okay, I don't know if you want to just take a couple of quick secs to talk about him, but then, I can give his resume to everybody, just take a look at, and maybe at the next meeting, we could see if this is somebody we'd like to meet and discuss.
Can we make sure, is he a resident of the town?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So Ricky is a Shepherd Hill grad who is a student at Nichols, graduating in his undergrad in 3 years and staying on for a 4th year to complete his MBA. He is, he and his dad own a construction business here in town, and also he is getting into real estate. But he is super interested. I've just enjoyed watching him in class, and as we were talking about, and meeting him in class, and as we were talking about wanting to kind of get more younger people involved in the town, he kind of came to mind, and I reached out to him and asked him, is this something that you might be interested in? He was like, actually really want to get involved in the town. And so he's really excited about maybe the possibility of joining the group. Yeah, that's about it, so.
Okay, awesome.
I've known him for a while. He's also a friend of my son's, so he's a good kid.
Nice. And, all right, so everybody has a copy of his resume. Does anybody have anything else for open discussion?
No, other than to say the fact that he received an Eagle Scout Award says something about his character. That is a big deal in scouting.
That is a big deal. Yeah.
What would the next step be? You go before the,
Well, I think what we would do is we want to meet him and talk with him and just get a kind of feel for him, and then I'd be more than willing to say, why don't we invite him to the next, meeting, if that's okay with everybody else on the committee, and then, then we would, I believe the next step would be we make a recommendation to the Board of Selectmen, and then they would actually appoint him.
Is this a selectman appointed one, the associate member? I don't know. Is there?
That's a good question. I'm
I
not,
think we advised them that we're interested in making him an associate, and they may say, okay, that's fine with us if you guys are good, or they may ask to see him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Similar process to when I joined. So I
Yes.
will let him know when we have their next meeting.
awesome.
You went before the selectmen, right?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I did.
So
I
maybe
just
for an
didn't know
associate,
if
they
the
might
whole
not-
committee
yeah.
was a selectman appointed, or if there were just certain ones.
Yeah.
But anyway, will we meet in December? Probably not, right?
Probably. I forget if we do. We can just let everybody know. I'll touch base with Bill and see, because I know with the
Well, we
holiday.
probably should if we want to meet that December
Yeah.
14th.
Oh, that's right. So
Yeah.
I would say that we would need to. Even if it's like, like here, if it's a couple of days before a major holiday, even if it's just, only an hour and almost 2 hours out of our day.
not usually.
Is that all
This is a
time?
record. This is a record.
Yeah.
I think this is the longest one. But yeah, I think we'll see about next month, and we can get that date finalized, and we can send it out to everybody.
Sounds good.
But other than that, if anybody doesn't have anything else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
All right.
Second.
In favor? Good. Thanks. Okay.